Breaking news. Welcome to Lafris Concept TV. Buhari printed 22 trillion naira, then told Tinubu to repay with oil production at lows. Buhari printed 22 trillion naira, then told Tinubu to repay with oil production at lows. To my dear listeners, before I go into details, ensure you like, subscribe and share. According to the Daily Post, a financial analyst and educator, Carlo Aja, expressed concerns about the economic state inherited by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from his predecessor. Former President Muhammadu Buhari, according to Aja, President Tinubu should have been more transparent about the dire situation he encountered upon taking office. Aja's remarks were made in a post on his X handle, where he emphasized the seriousness of the challenges faced by the current administration. Aja pointed out that the economy was in a critical condition, describing it as dead and highlighting that the treasury was empty when Tinubu assumed office. He noted that former President Buhari had left nothing behind, not even a single kobo. This tax situation, according to Aja, required immediate and honest communication from the new administration to the public. However, he suggested that Tinubu chose to stay silent, possibly to avoid causing panic or instability. The financial experts suggested that Tinubu's silence was a strategic choice. I just speculated that the new president might have been aware of the extent of the economic difficulties but opted not to disclose them, perhaps to maintain calm or prevent a negative reaction from various stakeholders. Aja's comments reflect a concern that the public was not fully informed about the severity of the economic challenges at the start of Tinubu's presidency. Ajal also raised the issue of fiscal policies implemented by the Buhari administration, which have had lasting impact on the current government. He mentioned that Buhari's administration printed 22 trillion naira and left the responsibility of repayment to Tinubu's government. This financial decision, combined with low oil production, has placed a significant burden on the new administration. In his commentary, Aja suggested that instead of addressing the actions of his predecessor, Tinubu may have begun to believe in optimistic projections and presentations, possibly those provided by his advisors or from PowerPoint slides used in planning sessions. This indicates a concern that Tinubu might have underestimated the gravity of the economic situation or relied too heavily on theoretical solutions without fully acknowledging the practical challenges. He said, Buhari printed 22 trillion naira, then told Tinubu to repay with oil production at lows. Tinubu, instead of calling him out, started to believe his own PowerPoint slides. To my dear listeners, now I've come to the end of our today's news, and now before I go, in addition to that, to my dear listeners, I believe we all know politics is a dirty game. It is now obvious to us that politics, it is a dirty game. They play games, and the saddening part of it is that they play games with us. They used us in their games. They used us in their cunning act, and then they bounce back on us again. For how long do we need to stand, sit, and look them doing this to us. Let's move down to the comment section. Let's see what people have to say here. The first comment which I have here says, but buying a new private jet and luxury cars and VPLs are not affected. A response to that says, completion project RAVP housed not by his government. All these things have been on ground. So far, he inherited the good, bad, ugly last administration. Then he would do what he do. Another comment which I have here says, Tinubu and Buhari are two sides of the same coin, of the same coin. A stock of APC government. Tinubu's uncontrolled expenses did not suggest that he inherited an empty purse. Still at the comment section, Vice Presidential Lodge, 1 billion naira yacht, 150 billion naira presidential jet, 8.7 million naira monthly salary, 76 billion naira National Assembly laggies, and many more. Others are not affected by the poor economy inherited. Foolish people. And you don't want people to protest. And you don't want people to come out to demand this is what they want. When just one person is collecting such allowance, collecting millions as a salary, what takes you as the president of the country to, at least even if it is just wardrobe allowance, use it to do something? You same person is collecting food allowance, clothing allowance, a lot of allowances, salary inclusive. And yet Nigerians are not living fine. We keep struggling. We are suffering every day. To my dear listeners, we can't just watch them do this to us. We need people that are determined. And I don't blame people who doesn't come out too. People who are not talking because they know freedom after speech, it is not guaranteed. We are in a situation whereby we are not even safe to talk. So now let's have the last comment here that says, all this